It's not just India that has been irked by Donald Trump's offer to mediate on the Kashmir dispute. Even within his own country, the president has been ridiculed for his lack of expertise on South Asian politics. Safe to say, the U.S. government is in damage control mode. A statement released from the House of Representatives in the U.S. said that the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Elliot Engel, had in fact spoken to Harshvardhan Shringla, the Indian ambassador to the U.S. The chairman is said to have reiterated the U.S.'s position on supporting dialogue, but firmly stated that the dialogue's pace and scope can only be determined by India and Pakistan, effectively vindicating India's stance that Kashmir is a bilateral issue. The chairman also emphasized that if the talks are to be meaningful, then Pakistan must take concrete action against terrorist infrastructure on its own soil. U.S. Representative Brad Sherman has called Trump's statement on Kashmir amateurish, delusional, and embarrassing. He said, and I quote, "Everyone who knows anything about foreign policy in South Asia knows that India consistently opposes third-party mediation on Kashmir. Everyone knows PM Modi would never suggest such a thing." The White House has also released a statement after the meeting between President Trump and Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, despite Trump's bold claim that the Indian Prime Minister asked him to mediate in the Kashmir dispute. The White House press release does no mention of Kashmir or the offer to mediate. This clearly seems to suggest that the President and his own administration are not on the same page when it comes to Kashmir.
They are really the #1 state of terror.
Our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik is in Washington, D.C., tracking the latest on Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan's visit, maiden trip to the U.S. And he joins us live here on WION Dispatch. Anas Malik, talk to us. Trump's, is known to make these statements, and there's, only so much seriousness that you can take most of the things that he says. But here you have this statement coming in. How exactly did the Pakistani establishment react to this?
Well, the Pakistani establishment has by and large welcomed this statement from President Trump, even if it was a bluff. On the part of Pakistani administration, they call it a victory. On their part, they call it a diplomatic coup, rather, that they have, in a way, successfully managed to get the Kashmir issue internationalized, and that a country that is very close to the Indian side as well, is now offering to mediate. The Pakistani Prime Minister as well has spoken about it yesterday in a media interview. The Pakistani Foreign Minister has also spoken about it. In fact, the Pakistani Prime Minister just a while ago, in like 2-3 minutes ago, has tweeted, and I quote, he says, "Surprised by reaction of India to President Trump's offer of mediation to bring Pakistan and India to dialogue table for resolving the Kashmir conflict, which has held subcontinent hostage for the past 70 years. Generations of Kashmiris have suffered and are suffering daily, and there is need for conflict resolution." So the Pakistani Prime Minister, in fact, by and large, the Pakistani dispensation, we saw is welcoming this statement. We saw this statement, a late statement coming in from the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That also had a paragraph mentioned as well. I asked the Pakistani Foreign Minister last night, and during his press conference, that the Indian side has rejected any such request, and he was adamant rather that the US President has been made an offer, has been requested by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi that would he want to mediate or not. The Pakistani Foreign Minister was also quick to say that the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, during his meeting with President Trump, has told him in brief about the conflict, about the Kashmir issue, and that what has been ongoing for the past 70 years. So by and large, the Pakistani dispensation is twisting it, tweaking it, and calling it their diplomatic victory. Yes, Krishna.
Anas Malik joining us live with the update straight from Washington, D.C. Anas, but at the end of the day, it is a known fact for 7 decades that Kashmir has been, is, and will always be a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. And it is surprising that the Pakistani establishment is taking to what Trump is saying right now.
Well, yes, the Pakistani establishment believes, and rather I'll take you back what the Prime Minister said to his interview to an American media outlet, and while he was speaking to journalists in White House, he said that since this issue has not been solved bilaterally, he said that back in 2003-2004, Pakistan and India were very close, referring to the time of General Musharraf and the Agra talks. He was referring to that, and he said that they were very, very close to signing an agreement on Kashmir, and that was the only time. And since then, India has not been keen. This is what the Pakistani Prime Minister has claimed, that Indian side has not been very keen on resolving the Kashmir issue bilaterally, and it's been 70 years since it has been ongoing. Therefore, if it's not for a bilateral forum, if it's for a third-party mediation, Pakistan would welcome that. Now, remember, this is not the first time that Pakistan has welcomed any such move. We've previously seen when Turkey had offered to welcome, to mediate in the Kashmir issue, Pakistan had welcomed, and India, in its stated position, had rejected any such assertions or any such offer. It's because India has maintained it is a bilateral dispute. Pakistan, on the other hand, has been saying that since India does not want to talk bilaterally, why not ask for a third-party intervention? And in its actual form, we saw an extension to which the Pakistani Prime Minister has endorsed the statement from President Trump. Just as I said, he has tweeted as well in its favor. He spoke in that interview to the American media outlet. He spoke, the Pakistani Foreign Minister last night spoke to the press as well. He also baited for talks for a third-party intervention. So by and large, the Pakistani side is welcoming this statement from US President Donald Trump. Yes, Krishna.
Anas Malik, our Pakistan Bureau Chief, with that live update from Washington, D.C. Thank you, Anas, for being with us here on WION Dispatch.